Sirianni's great at that. Sirianni's great at like embracing Philly and ingratiating himself with the fans and promoting his players. It's a real skill. I think
really
it's really
good. Also yelling at the Colts fans.
But that was ingratiating himself to his players. That was like for Philly. That was for Frank Reich, the whole thing. Yeah.
Coach Mangini is here, but we're going to start with Brew. Brew, the question is, can the Eagles pull off the upset with Gardner Minshew?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're playing Dallas. Dallas, you never know what they're going to do, and they're liable to go out there and have a letdown because it's not Jalen. It's not Jalen Hurts. We've been talking about him for 2 weeks.
I agree with that.
He's not here. We got Gardner Minshew. But there's other things. The defense, obviously, for Philadelphia is not going to be affected by Jalen Hurts. They're going to be great. They lead the league in sacks with 55. And Dak has struggled. We talk about his interceptions. Most of them have come against pressure. Okay, when he gets pressure, the last 4 weeks, 6 of his 7 interceptions have been against pressure. And you would think, now I know they didn't sack Cooper Rush at all when they played, a couple months ago, but you would think that Philadelphia is going to be able to put pressure on Dak, and he obviously has struggled against that. Secondly, Gardner Minshew is a top-of-the-line backup. But he also, Coach, he was a good running quarterback. I don't know that he obviously can't do what Jalen does, but can he run the option kind of like Jalen? They nullified Micah Parsons by running right at him. So they may still be able to do that with Gardner Minshew. So I think for those reasons, Coach, plus the Cowboys, that they could beat them.
Yeah, I don't see this as being a big upset scenario. What's the line, like 4.5?
4.5, 5, yeah.
3 is usually if you're the away team. And then I think it reflects kind of where these two teams are, with or without Jalen. And Philadelphia really in every major statistical category is better. And with Gardner Minshew, the most staggering thing to me is his TD to interception ratio. So he's at 41-12. And to put that in perspective, that's the 5th best since 2019. He's barely off your favorite son and several other of the elite quarterbacks. Now, obviously, his record doesn't reflect that, but that one statistic where he's able to generate the points that he's generated while protecting the football, to me, is a great thing for the Eagles.
Yeah, and I also think it's noteworthy that Philly beat Dallas earlier this year. I understand Cooper Rush was the quarterback, so I'm not overlooking that. But they did it without Jalen Hurts playing great. Jalen Hurts in that game had 182 total yards, passing and rushing combined. They did it by forcing Cooper Rush into 3 turnovers, and we might say, okay, Dak won't do that. Well, he might. I mean, Dak's had a couple turnovers in big spots in each of the last couple games. So I do think Philly absolutely can win this game without Jalen. And if they do, it sets up, and I just want to bounce this off you for a moment, Coach, a really interesting opportunity for them. Because if they win this game, they lock up the 1 seed. They don't just lock up the division, they lock up the 1 seed. I think there's always a risk with resting your team in the final week of the year if you have the bye. But if you lock it up with 2 weeks to go, I would think Sirianni should consider resting everyone in week 17 and then playing them in week 18. So you remove the injury possibility off the schedule, but don't have the 2-week lag to where the rust can be a problem.
What is that, exercise?
What do you mean exercise?
Like week 18, what are they out there doing?
Well, I mean, I don't think you want to rest. I think we've seen teams that were rolling and they rest too long. Like, would you?
Yeah, well, it's the debate every season. So we always have it at the end of the preseason, and we have it at the end of the regular season. Do you rest your guys, or how much do you play them? And it's the rest versus rust debate, and it's gone both ways, where guys have rested and it's turned out poorly. They've rested and it's turned out great. So you've got to get a feel for your team. Now, definitely rest Jalen. Like, make sure that he's
for sure
completely healthy when he comes back. And then you're going to have some other guys that are more dinged up. And if you can get them some time to recover, that does give you a great advantage going in.
With 2 weeks to go in the season just opens up so many possibilities of what you can do if you want to be creative.
But you would want to play Jalen before his first playoff game.
Yeah. Look, I'm more inclined to play guys at least part of the time in each of those games, so you don't lose the momentum that you have. And some teams that play their way into the playoffs are just sharper than the teams that have had time to rest.
It's going to be the Patriots. Watch out.
Oh, yeah.
Mac Jones starting to get Pro Bowl selections announced yesterday. Mahomes in, Joe Burrow in, Josh Allen in the AFC. Tua got the snub, but Nick, you think there was another problem. Josh Allen, the fearless leader of the number 1 seed Buffalo Bills, made it, and that really got in your craw.
It just doesn't make sense.
What?
Why?
Okay. If it's so, Mahomes and Burrow were definites, had to be in. Mm-hmm. So I left one spot open. If it's about the stats, it should be Tua. If it's about overcoming the most adversity and still having your team in it and carrying them, it should be Herbert. And if it's about who's the hottest right now, like people want to turn the MVP into, sure, it should be Trevor. On none of those factors should it be Josh Allen. Again, this is where Josh Allen has 16 turnovers this season, which is more than any quarterback not named Mills or Ryan, and he has a worse rating than Andy Dalton. And in the last 2 months, he has had one great game. One. It was the most recent one, and I know the most recent thing is the only thing, but still, we can show you what Josh Allen has been over the last 2 months of football. I know he was really good the first 6 weeks, but that to me does not a Pro Bowler make. And so, yeah, to me, I would have had Tua as the next Pro Bowler. I think there's a strong argument for Justin Herbert, and Josh Allen would have been fifth on my make-believe ballot.
36 touchdowns seems like a lot.
Nick,
I lost your categories, though. It was like who overcame the most. This is like the tiers. No. Like who overcame the most adversity. Who wore the best
if it's numbers, then it's Tua.
To the pregame.
If it's numbers, then it's Tua.
What are the numbers that
Tua has the highest passer rating in all of football.
That's all he's got over Josh.
He has half the interceptions.
Who averages more yards per game?
Josh Allen.
When they played,
who has more touchdowns?
When they played head to head,
1-1-1 and 1-1 the other.
Right.
And
1-1-1 one of those games. Yeah, that's a lot to work at. He threw the ball 18 times. The other guy threw the ball 63 times.
Thank you.
They dominated the game. They absolutely
and they lost it
dominated
because you're talking about the
it's
first
not
game.
About QB
they lost it because
63 times at 400 yards.
I understand, and they lost that first game because of grievous mistakes by Josh Allen.
I don't think it was just Josh Allen's mistakes in that game. There were some cumulative mistakes to lose a game where you have 40 minutes of time of possession.
Okay, listen, Brew, you were arguing at one point that Tua might be league MVP, and now he can't be a Pro Bowler?
Not over those three.
Well, not over those three, just over one.
No.
Just over your guy, Josh.
No. I mean, this is, Nick, I'm shocked.
I mean, Josh Allen has 700 yards rushing, too.
Right.
Yeah. Plus another 3 touchdowns rushing.
I mean, let me see this graphic. I didn't even put 2 on it. I thought you were going to argue, because 2 is out of it. This is Josh Allen versus Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence.
I'm sorry that
Since in what world does a guy have a better record, more total yards per game by a nice margin, more total touchdowns? He's almost got twice as many touchdowns
but I'm
as Justin
about
Herbert.
Tua.
A higher passer rating.
I'm talking
in
about
what
Tua.
world is he not higher respected
I'm
than those
talking
guys?
about Tua.
Tua's got fewer yards per game. Fewer touchdowns. He missed 3 games. He's falling apart as we speak.
Falling apart as we speak?
He's lost his last 3 games and has barely completed 50%. Actually, hasn't completed 50%
I thought he played well against the Bills
over his last 3 games.
You're right that he has, because of the missed games, of course, he has fewer touchdowns than Josh Allen. But he also has actually a third of the turnovers.
Yeah, because of the
worst thing a quarterback can do is turn the ball over. And Josh Allen has done it this year more than any quarterback in the league that hasn't been benched. How is that not relevant?
He scored 84% of his team's touchdowns. That is the most in the league. He's one of 3.
They don't run the ball.
He runs the ball. He's the leading rusher, by the way, too. And they're 11-3. It's working. Come on, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if you did well that segment.
Okay.
I feel like you got cooked up.
I know. You did.
I feel like you cooked up.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.